Hi, this is Ruby from the Useful Journal. A while back, or maybe like it's only a couple of months ago, I got a whole lot of sample inks, and I already had the most of the Pilot Iroshizuku inks in sample size, and then I also have just a couple of inks in full size, and I wanted to start doing swatching because up till now all I've been doing is writing in my swatch journal, just writing a little sample like that. But the problem with this is that when you write with a fairly fine fountain pen, you don't see the full sheening of the ink, and you can just see the sparkles, but I just wanted better samples so that I could see the color variation. And I've just been messing around with different ways of doing it. Like this was the back of a little spoon, and like you can see the beautiful purpley edge on that one. And then this one, I was messing around with different things because I read somewhere that you could take your glass dip pen and you could use the end of it. So I tried that. I've tried paint brushes. What else did I do? Sorry, this is a bit of a scrap here. So what I wanted to do was I stamped on the paper and then I cut out the same shape. So it was one of these stamps. And I cut out the same shape in paper and stuck that on and did a splatter. But the problem was that the paper kind of acted like a sponge and brought it under the picture anyway, so that didn't work. And then I tried sticking it on the paper and that still didn't work. I wanted to have like a clear picture of that stamp in the middle with ink around it, but I couldn't get that idea to work. And here's another couple of splatter tests, which I think were a bit messy for me. I love splatters, but I like controlled splatters. And I've been messing around on this beautiful notepad from Bespoke Letterpress, which is an Australian brand, I think. This was on this paper. And it's coping quite well considering how much ink I've been putting down. I have set up a splatter box. I just took a cardboard packet from when I bought a journal and cut it open, and I'm using that to contain the mess just a little. I also tried it on watercolor paper. This was only Canson watercolor paper. It was a cheaper one. It's only medium weight. I think it's like 180 grams. Or maybe 220, I'm not sure. Surprised that it actually bled through on this, but I just didn't like, there was just a bit too much spreading and you don't get the same depth because this is exactly the same ink as on this one. Now this paper is a heavyweight cartridge paper, and you really do get the different colors of the ink and you get the sheens. So I'm happy with this paper. Lots of people test them on a range of papers, and I do have a Tomoe River notebook, and it's only a small one, 52 GSM, and I've tested it here. And look, this paper is probably the best for showing the sheening and shimmer inks. You get a really nice color variation, but I think I'm getting enough on this paper that I'm happy with it. And I am not, I've got one notebook with this paper, and I've got one notebook with Clairefontaine paper. So if I test on those papers, sure, it'll tell me how it's going to work in that particular journal, but not all my other journals. I've got such a huge range because I test journals. I've got like 50 different brands of journals. So for me, I think the cartridge paper will suit my purposes because, well, firstly it doesn't bleed. It's nice and heavyweight, so I can put, what I'm going to do is get a ring to put through it, and I'll make a cover for it, and then I'll just have a little sample book. I am still tossing up about whether I want to have an ink journal, but for now, this is what I want, just so I can quickly see the ink colours. And so the other thing I've been experimenting with is, well, firstly, I'm going to write with my Raw and Klinger glass pen. That's for the broader writing, and the reason I want to do a broader style is because you can really see, like this is Asagao, I don't know if I'm saying this right, Asagao ink from Pilot Iroshizuku ink, and I have used this a lot. I've actually got a big bottle of it. Just get it. So I've actually got a big bottle of this one, and I've never seen this purpley shading because I'm usually writing in my journals with this kind of pen. So it's nice to try it with this pen just to get that variation in shading and colour, which is beautiful. I didn't even know it existed for this ink. Then I am also, just so I know what it's going to look like in my journals, I am using my Pilot dip pen. It's an Iro Utsushi pen. It's a dip pen just like this one, but it's not glass, and it's got a normal fountain pen nib. It's a medium nib, and that means that I get that finer writing there. So that's my thinking. Now, the reason I've got two samples on there is this is done with a paintbrush, and at first I was painting right up to the, where's the bit of paper? When I first tried it, I found that painting over the ink I'd used, and this is waterproof ink, and actually the one I've been using has xylene in it, so that's really waterproof. That has been feathering a little bit once I add the ink, so I'm now using a paintbrush to paint just inside the line so it looks all nice and pretty. And then this side, so I've tried a few different things. As I said, I tried a spoon, I tried a paintbrush, I tried the back end of the glass pen, like this end of the glass pen. I tried a Q-tip, we call them earbuds in Australia, but a Q-tip, I tried that. And I also tried, did I try a sponge? I don't think I tried the sponge. I thought about it but decided not to. And I haven't tried, the other thing you can use is a plastic wrap and saran wrap, I think some countries call it, and you can press down with that. And then I've used the spoon. But the thing that I kind of liked in the end, oh, here's a watercolour one where I coloured watercolour paper and coloured in that bit, just like this one. I'm planning to do these by doing a layer with a paintbrush and then dropping a couple of drops of paint on to get that darker bit as well, and to get the shading around the edge of that sample. And then what I did with this one was I used a bottle lid. Now, I tried it with this one and I quite liked it, but then I realised that the bottle lid was not, I actually used this bottle lid in my Tomoe River pad. Oh, here's another one. The ink tends to spread outside the shape of the thing there if you paint too close to the line. I did an ink splot test in this one here. Ink spots look pretty cool. But yeah, this lid is what I used for these. So you just paint some ink on the top and you splot it down and then lift it, and then it leaves obviously some wetter spots. Here's another test on this little bit. This is with a Van Diemen's ink. It's very shimmery. also spread outside the line. That's why I'm now staying inside the line. This paper was reasonably good, but I do prefer the heavyweight just for my sample cards. And then, so once I tried that, I realised that because of the arrows on this lid and the divot in the middle, it's a bit hard to get a smooth finish. So with this one, I got, you know, the little takeaway containers that you put sauce in, like you get sauce in from the takeaway shop. I just took the lid of that and I just put some ink on that and then pressed that down, and it worked perfectly. I like that one. It's a bit bigger. This one was a bit small. The idea is that I'll have a set of cards, and I've started cutting them already. And just imagine I've got my key ring through there, and then I'll be able to spread them out. So I wanted this big splotch on the end because that's the thing that will be easiest to see when I'm spreading out the cards like this to select a colour. And the good thing about the key ring means that I can sort them according to colours or brands or whatever I decide to sort them by, probably by colour. But yeah, I figured by having the splotch on the end, then it's easier to see the colour, whereas if it was at this end, it's not as good. I'm just adding this additional sample with the stamps because I love the stamps I got and I wanted to use them, and I just think it looks nice. So you don't really need to. I could have just done the writing with the splotch, but I've got these really cute stamps. This one, which you can see here, and then I've got this one, which is just a bottle, and then I've got this one, which is a hamster over a bottle. And these are all by Beverly, made in Japan. So I really want to use these because they're really cute. So that's what I'm going to do. So on each one, I will have the picture painting in just inside the bottle there. I'll have the brand and the name, and then I'll have a big splotch. And that's all my plans at the moment. I'll keep them, any other information, in my other, in an ink journal if I ever go that far, if I feel like the need for that. I'm not fully into this yet. Like, I love my fountain pens, I love my inks, but I'm not doing any fancy calligraphy or anything like that. I don't write pages and pages. I'm just using fountain pens in my journals, really. So, I mean, you can see here, each month I choose, this was Sioro, which was Pilot Iroshizuku ink. So each month I just choose an ink. You can see a little bit of the sheening in that. Every month I just choose an ink that goes with the theme. This one was Cafe Crema by Robert Oster. I think it's Robert Oster. And then this month I'm just doing a black ink. It was a cartridge that came with my Pilot Metropolitan. So yeah, I always just choose one ink colour, so it's nothing fancy, but yeah, I just want a better way to see my colours, because as I showed you in my swatch journal, which is mainly washi tape, but it does have pen swatches as well, and it just isn't quite as useful in the long term. Like, it's useful in terms of seeing the basic colour of it, but I want to be able to see the full shading. And if it's a really beautiful shading ink, then I'm going to write with this, because then I get a nice, and I get a nice broader stroke. But I also have in my TWSBI Diamond 580, I actually have a stub nib in this one, so I'll be able to get a beautiful broad stroke with that as well. So I'm quite happy to write in that. I'll just write a bit bigger than I usually do. So yeah, if I've got really beautiful inks, and these in particular are very shiny, glittery inks, then I'll either use this for them because I don't want to clog up my good pen, or ones that just have a little bit of sheening, I can put in this one. I certainly won't be putting those really glittery inks in my fountain pen because they will clog up very quickly. So yeah, that's the plan. So we'll just quickly wrap up by doing a sample, and I'll pick something really cool. What shall we do? I know. I've been dying to try this ink because it looks gorgeous. Where is it? Golden Honey. Diamine Golden Honey. It is the most beautiful colour. So let's see what it can do. So very simply, I'm going to put a stamp on it. So I need to get my ink pad. Shouldn't be too much splatter from this, but you never know. I'm starting to get little marks everywhere. I keep having to wipe my desk down. Okay, so I'm just going to put that there. Then I'll let that dry. And then let's do the paintbrush. So, see, I am very clumsy. I'm just, always have been. So it's something I have to really watch. I am known for spilling things. So, got my paintbrush. Just going to get a little bit of ink on my paintbrush. Could even use this bit. Don't need much. Let's soak that up pretty quickly. And I'm just going to paint my bottle here. And as I said, I'm not going to go over the line. So just like that, nothing fancy. And then I'm just going to allow a bit more to settle on there to get the shading. So do that. Oh, there we go, we're getting splatters anyway. Can't help myself. Put the lid on. Right, next, put that away. Next I'm going to do this one, and this ink is a Diamine Golden Honey. So actually, I'll do the splot first so I know how much space I need. So I'll get my little disc. Again, the paintbrush. Just dry it a little bit. And all I'm going to do is get that on there. Don't need more than that. Just put some on here. It'll look like I haven't covered it, but that is fine because you'll see when I press it down, it spreads out. And I don't care if it's not a neat circle, I don't care if it doesn't go all the way to the edges, but as you'll see, when I put this down and then I press, see how it goes pretty much a long way out. And then when I lift it up, it leaves wetter spots. And I will help it a little bit. I haven't got enough ink on there, I don't think. Probably needed a bit more ink. I'll just drop a little bit more on there. Just to increase, because there wasn't quite enough on there. And now what I'm going to do is take my little sample card and just allow it to drop down a little bit. So it spreads a little bit. No, it's not going to. Come on. Doesn't want to spread. This is just so I get a bit of the variation in colour that you get. It has dried very quickly on this card. Right, I've got it on my thing now, so that's handy. So this is a Diamine. So I'm going to do the brand in this pen. Such a beautiful colour. It's beautiful. Oh, it's got a little bit of a shimmer to it. That's nice. Just adding a bit more ink on there. Okay, I'm going to rinse that off because I'm going to write the other one, Golden Honey, I'm writing in the Pilot dip pen. So we'll get the Pilot dip pen, we'll grab the ink again, and we're just going to dip this in. This one goes dry a lot quicker. I'm still learning how to get the most out of this one. And I'm going to write Golden Honey. Big difference between the pens. And that is pretty much going to be my sample card. I'll work on getting those splotches a bit better. I just needed to add more ink at first. We'll let it dry. You can already see that we're getting a little bit of variation in colour here. But that was my idea. So that's kind of where I've settled at and what I'm going to do. I'm only going to do, for the moment, one colour per card, but maybe I could come back. It's not going through, so I could come back and put something on the other side. But yeah, that is the plan. I'll do another one. I just cut these myself from a big pad, and we'll do a different stamp this time. We'll go back to this one. Oh no, we'll go to the bottle. Right, so we'll put the bottle down. Put that there. So some people have really in-depth ink swatches and lots of information, but you just got to design it according to what you want and what you need. You don't have to do what someone else does. And then next I'll do my splotch, and this time I'll make sure that I add enough ink to get that nice, just make sure it's clean, still add a touch of blue on it. You got to shake these before you use them. Oh, while I've got this, I will do the paint on there as well. So get my paintbrush, dry it out, get the water out of it, soak that up. See how we go. Oh, look at that shimmer. Oh, so beautiful. I can't believe how beautiful fountain pen inks are. They are stunning. I don't think I need to add much more to that. All right, we'll get it again, and we're going to put a bunch on here. Just make sure I get a bit more this time. Put the lid on because I am prone to spilling these things. Turn this over, drop it down, squish. Oh, that's better. Okay, now that's squished all the way. So I can now pick that up, wipe that off. It's got a very light, now before it dries too much, I'm going to tip it. It's got a very light pink. Be interesting to see how it writes. So we'll get my dip pen, and we're writing Van Diemen's ink, and then I'll write the colour in the other pen. So Van Diemen's ink. Did you know that Australia was called Van Diemen's Land when it was first discovered, which is where I think this ink name probably comes from. It's a Dutch. Australia was very nearly Dutch, but they didn't jump on it quite as quickly as the British did, so we ended up being British colony, then, but we were very nearly Dutch. This is quite a light ink. It's very light. It's almost too pale. I don't know. It's very pretty though. It's almost one that I'd like to paint with rather than write with. These glitter inks, you got to get them off quickly because otherwise you'll get glitter stuck on your pen. I'm probably cleaning this wrong, but someone will know. Everyone's full of advice on the internet. Now, my other dip pen, which is just the simple one. Have a quick dip. And we're writing, here kitty kitty. Here kitty 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 kitty. Here. Now, this is very pale in the fine pen. When would you need to write with such a fine colour? Such a light colour? Add a bit more colour there. Really only gets the darker colour when it is allowed to pull. I suppose that's the sort of information I would add to an ink journal, is the behaviour. Okay, that's pretty much it. I'll let that dry. So I have settled on my ink swatching process for now. Let these two dry. I'm pretty happy with that. It's not what everyone would do, but I like it, and I'm pretty happy with this solution of the lid. It's not my idea. I saw all sorts of things on the internet and watched a whole bunch of videos, and that's just what I've settled on. Tried a few lids and I prefer this one. I like the crazy edge. Yeah. So, if you like my video and subscribe to my channel, you'll see some more of these. I'll see you soon. Bye.